Hi, I'm Cherie Hartwick, and I'm here at OPC presenting another Art to Go project. This one is for card makers, or even if you're not a card maker and would like to get into making your own cards, this is the perfect project for you. It's called One Sheet Wonders, and they call it that because what you do, it involves using one sheet of scrapbooking paper, and with a grid you cut it into different shapes and then glue it onto blank cards to decorate the cards. And there's no waste to the paper. You use the whole sheet. Sometimes you might have a piece left over, or that just depends on what you do. Well, in the kits that we've made up for you, we're actually giving you 2 sheets of paper. There'll be a print sheet of paper and a plain sheet of paper. And they might be different thicknesses, it doesn't really matter. This particular one is more like regular copy paper, and this is cardstock, which is a little thicker. And the plain paper will all be cardstock. The printed paper might be a little heavier, doesn't really matter. So the first thing you're going to do, and everything in the kit, you have everything you need in the kit to make these cards, but you can add things that you have at home as well. The only additional thing you might need is a little bit different glue to glue on some of the embellishments, and we'll get to that later. So with the 2 sheets of paper, you're going to have this grid, and you're going to have two of these, 2 copies of this, and it has all the dimensions written on it. And the reason we put in 2 is we're going to use 1 to begin with. And let me get this straightened up. And there'll be 2 big paper clips in your kit. And what you're going to do is just put the paper clips, like 1 up at the top of this side and maybe 1 over on this side somewhere. And this is going to hold all 3 sheets of paper together while you cut it. The reason we gave you a second grid is so if you want to do this again on your own, you can use the second grid. If you have access to a scanner and a computer, you could scan this sheet and copy it out and do it many, many times, or take it to some place that makes copies and have them make some copies for you. Or if you really want to do it, I laid this out on graph paper. So I didn't really have to measure anything, just count the squares. But if you really wanted to, you could take a plain piece of copy paper and with a ruler mark out the different the sizes of these squares and shapes that you need. But once you have it paper clipped on there so it all stays together, you need a regular pair of scissors, which we're assuming everybody has at their home. And the other problem that we ran into is that when you make a copy of something, it shrinks it a little bit. So when I did this on the graph paper, it was full to the edges. Well, when I copied it, it wasn't. There's a little bit of blank space on the edges, but we just ignore those. So first thing I'm going to do is cut right down this center line and cut this paper in half. And this is just this template I got on Pinterest, off of Pinterest. They have lots of different ones. This one is on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and it makes 8 cards. They have the same grids for the 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper, and you can use that too. And it makes more cards. So now I'm going to cut this one in half, and the paper clip is still holding it together. And while I'm holding this tight in my hand, I'm going to cut this next piece in half. Whoops, it went flying, but that's okay. And I'm just going to lay that over to the side. And then this is the only one that's on an angle. And I'm going to hold that and cut that at an angle. And now I can either can take my paper clip off of that piece. I kind of keep them stacked with the grid to begin with, but you know, that isn't something that you have to do. So I'm going to put this paper clip over here. I'm going to cut this one. Like I say, this is just an idea of how to cut up the sheet. If you really get into this, you can cut it up different ways, and you might end up cutting up these pieces in different ways as well. Okay, now I'm really getting down into the smaller pieces. In your kit will be a glue stick, which will work perfectly for this. If you have at home, if you're into any kind of crafts and do other card making, I'm going to show you how to stack and layer these pieces. But if you have like the little double stick foam little dots or squares or tape, you can use that to what they call pop something to give it dimension. The only problem that comes with that is that if you get too much dimension in a card, sometimes you have to pay extra postage when you go to mail it, and we don't want you to have to do that. So, like I said, you're going to have a full photograph on the front of your instructions and written instructions as well on how to do this. And I'm going to get this out of the way so we have a little bit more room. In your kit, besides the 2 sheets of paper and the grids, will be a set of 8 blank cards, and they come unfolded. And you'll notice there is a score mark down the middle. Doesn't really matter which way you fold it. There's no right or wrong side to these cards, but you're going to fold it in half. And then you can decide as you're laying these out if you want the card to be open this way or open this way. You know, that you can decide that at any time. So now we're going to start to layer these to give us the designs. And you, like I say, you have a print piece of paper and a plain piece of paper the same size. And to layer them, I'm going to do this one, get this out of the way. I'm going to do this one, looking at it to me this way. And you can cover the whole card. And you'll notice now this hangs off the edge a little bit. And what I do is I glue it down first, and then I come back and trim it on the other side with the regular scissors. I better keep the regular scissors handy. So for this one, and like I say, these might even be different. Here's a card that I did earlier with the same idea. I covered the whole front of the white card. And the paper that's in these kits are winter themed papers, not specifically Christmas. We tried to not do really Christmassy papers so that it could be for any occasion. This one says happy anniversary. My husband and I, our anniversary is January 30th, which is definitely a winter anniversary. So this would be a perfect anniversary card with a little snowflake on it. Your kits do not have snowflakes in it, but it has other embellishments, and you might have embellishments at home that you can use, or use those Joanne or Michael coupons and go get some to add to your cards. But on this one, what I did, because also in your kit, you're going to have a pair of fancy scissors that cut decorative edges. And all I did on that one, which I'm going to do on this, is I just cut off the bottom edge of this paper. And it takes a little, you might want to practice this on some old plain copy paper first if you've never used these kind of scissors, but you kind of line up the designs so that it cuts evenly all the way across. And you can even keep this little cut piece to use as for something else. So, whoops, I'm losing my cards. First thing I'm going to do is glue my print piece. And this can go either way. You can put, the print on the top and the plain on the bottom. It doesn't matter. And glue stick you kind of want to get to the edges. You don't have to do the whole middle, but you can kind of do a stripe down the middle if you want. And then line it up with the card and press it down. And like I said, this one goes over the edge a little bit, but I'll trim that up in a minute. I just noticed that I got that a little crooked, and you can pick it up and move it a little bit. Okay, now the red one I'm going to print with this edge that I just did going up. So I have that decorative edge there, which I did not cut too straight, so I'm going to, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to straighten it by sight. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it that way. It's all right. And I'm going to put the glue stick on the back again. I think the glue sticks that are going to be in your kits are the kind that go on purple and then turn white, which kind of helps a little bit on some of these papers. So I'm lining it up, gluing it down. Now I'm going to flip it over and trim this edge. Now what I've done is I've actually done several sets of these and left them blank because you don't know what occasion might come up. Like I say, I have one made for a sympathy card. This one is a sympathy card. You'll get in the kit also, you'll get a whole sheet. This one is cut up a little bit because I've already used some of them with all kinds of different sentiments. Happy birthday, congratulations, thank you, best wishes, sympathy, just a note. You don't know what occasion might come up that you might want to use something like that. Also in your kit will be 2 pages. Again, I've used some of these, of colored some words and some designs that you can cut if you want to make them into Christmas cards. So this one, it can be done, but in your kit of stuff that you're going to be getting some ribbon. I could take a piece of this ribbon and glue it. This is where I said you might need some different glues to do some different, glue different products down. But I could glue a piece of ribbon like that, or I could glue it the same ribbon up here. There's going to be some rickrack in your packages, all different kinds of embellishments that you can add to this. Then let me get another square of paper. So here's another thing you could do, because like I say, you can use these pieces you've cut out any way you want. You don't have to just put 2 pieces of paper on. This is another piece of that same pattern. And I could put this right down in this corner and then put my sentiment on top of it. And we have a couple winter birthdays in our family as well. And I think what I'm going to do is cut out this one that says happy birthday. And the words, the sentiments, and the pictures are on cardstock, which is a little bit thicker, which is good. Sometimes you need something a little bit thicker. So now I can just put this right there and just center it in there for happy birthday. It's my son-in-law who has a January birthday. So this would be fine for him just like this. You'll also get a few of these little trees, which I could glue those across the top or up here, cut them apart, use them any way you want. There's also some of these little 3-dimensional wooden little trees that I might just put one of those right there. So this is what I'm going to do, a finished card, and then I'll show you some other ways you can put the cards together. My way of looking at this is, why go to Hallmark or whatever and spend $5 for a card that some people save them. I have a whole bunch of cards that I've saved that are from my kids and things like that. But a lot of people, you know, they get them and they look at them and they think, oh, that's really nice, and then they throw it away. So as you're making these, don't think that you're making something that's going to last forever. So I'm going, and this is one case I'm not sure if the glue stick will hold this, but just for demonstration, I'm going to put some glue stick on it. If I were at home, the glue that I would recommend might be like an E6000 glue or any kind of a tacky glue. On this, I put a little gob of the glue, and I'm just going to put that little tree right there. Now I know I'm not going to mail this in the mail. I'll be handing this to him, but that's my finished card. It's a nice masculine card, you know, without being too fancy, and perfect for my son-in-law. You're going to get envelopes, obviously, in this kit as well. And the other thing you can do as you go along, or when you're all finished, is you can take your envelope and you can put a little decoration on the envelope as well. And you know, you could either like down here where you would put the address, or you might even end up cutting, oh, I know, I have an idea. I have my fancy strip that I cut off the red. I can glue that right on the bottom of the envelope to make it. I'm making sure that the opening is going the right way. And this tabletop is not protected. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this. Because when you're starting to glue small things with the glue stick, it does tend to go over the edge. And normally, you know, I would protect the whole table. I'll get that out of the way for now and make sure I got that going right. Glue that down. Oh, and that fits perfectly on the envelope. So now I have an envelope and the card to match. And like I say, I know I'm going to be handing this to him, so I don't have to worry about the dimensional piece getting in the way. So that's one way to decorate a card. I still have, oh, what's this one? Oh, that's just my grid. I'm gonna get that out of the way. I'm gonna show you how to do one of the diagonal ones and how to layer or stack. This is where, if you have the foam dots or the foam tape already and want to use them, this is a good place that you might be able to use them. But when you layer or stack something, I'm lining up one corner. See how that works. Oh, that fits perfectly. You can, let's see, I want to do the red underneath, and I think I'm going to move that all the way to this corner and glue that down, and then I'm going to do the green print all the way to this corner. So that is going to be basically my card. This is another one where you can cut this edge with the fancy scissor, or you could cut this edge with the fancy scissor and glue that. And let's see what might look good on top of that. Oh. Some of these, and I think I'll cut that out with fancy scissors. If you want, I'm just eyeballing this, but you know, you can draw with a ruler and make sure that, you know, this is all even. And I'm not doing that, but I'm cutting out the words Happy Holidays from my sheet. And you don't worry too much about the corners with these fancy scissors. That however they end up is fine. They look fancy no matter what you do. Get that out of the way. Get some of my scraps out of the way. So this is my plan for this one, and this is what you could or should do, is lay them out before you glue them to get some ideas. So that's what I'm going to do with that, and then I'm going to do Oh, see, that doesn't quite fit. Oh, but you know what? It looks good like that. And I am just going to trim these ends a little closer, make it a little shorter, and then it will fit just like that. So that gives me my fanciness, but still it's not overly fancy. And this is where I could take maybe, oh, that looks kind of good. I might do that. Let me cut off 3 of these trees and glue this down. And I mean, it just kind of, this is kind of addictive. You start and you start getting ideas on how can I layer this stuff, and how, you know, it can be put together multiple ways. And like I say, you can use 1, 2, as many pieces of the paper that you cut up as you want. You should be able to decorate at least 8 cards with the papers that you get. So there's one piece down. Like I say, I have to rely on the light to see the glare, just to make sure I got glue wherever I needed it. With the purple ones, that's taken care of. Okay, now this one's going to line up in this corner. And my Happy Holidays is going to go halfway in between, like that. I'm going to do my Christmas cards this way this year. Normally, I make my own Christmas cards all the time, but it gets kind of boring when you're at like the 50th or 60th Christmas card and you're doing them all the same. This way, you have the fun of doing them all different, but it's easy. So that's going to be there. And then I'm going to put these 3 little satiny Christmas trees right there. And again, I'm not sure the glue stick's going to hold it, but it will hold it at least till I get home and get my other glue. But this is the case where I would use E6000 or a tacky glue. Just a dot. You don't need a whole lot. And there's that finished one. And it's a Christmas one. Now, the ideas, I'm just going to show you a few others that I have done before. With, like this one has actually 1, 2, 3 pieces of paper, of the cut paper, and then one of the embellishments, and the words down there. The nice thing about the white paper with the words, the different sentiments, is that it kind of disappears onto the white card. But you can layer these any way you want. You have, like I say, you have enough to do at least 8 cards, and you can add other things that you have at home to the cards, and just have fun with it. We decided to do the cards with a winter theme because, you know, it's the beginning of winter. And but don't be stopped there. I'm just going to show you, this is when I first learned how to do this. I started out by making some fall cards, and this is again just showing you using the same grid, just different ways that you can lay them out. And again, this one, you know, this one could open this way, or it can open this way, and you just decide. By leaving them blank, you can decide at the moment on some of these which way you want them to open. I don't have any sayings that go this way, so I would use this one this way. And I have actually used 2 of these. Both my sons have birthdays in October, and so I used a couple of these cards that I made for them for their birthday cards. So this one I got a little carried away with some flowers and some gold tape. But they can be as simple or as fancy as you want. And it's just fun, especially if you're already into card making and you have papers and you have cards and you're kind of have lost interest in it, or you figure, well, I have all this paper, what am I going to do with it? Which is what the point that I was at. And then when I saw I saw it on Pinterest, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. So I started going through my papers, and before I knew it, I had all kinds of paper set aside that I wanted to do this with. If this proves to be popular, and we sell out the kits, we have, I think, 10 kits made, and we might do it again in the spring with some spring pattern papers. And I just want to show you a few of those that I made. I found, this is a better idea of what the paper looks like. I found this really pretty paper that looks like it's handmade paper with pressed flowers in it, but it's really just a print. But these are perfect for spring, and again, for any occasion. It could be, it could even be a wedding card. We don't have any sentiments that say that, but it could be anything. And actually, I didn't finish doing these. I have a few made, but here's a couple more. This could say happy birthday right across the middle. This one I took, and this could be, anything as well. So let me do this one. We'll go back to our kits, because I just got the idea from looking at what I've done here. So let's take another card and fold it again. And this way you can actually make these shapes go much further. This one, I'm looking at, like I say, some of these, because of the fact that the copying it makes it a little smaller. So this piece of red paper that I have is a little short for what I wanted to do. So I'm just centering it, and which is fine to do. You can see on some of these cards, like this one, where I've centered the papers, and you can cut them to do that, or like I say, if it comes up that they are short already, you just go with that. So double checking, yeah, this one. I'm just double checking with the one that inspired me to see how I actually made it. If you have enough room to spread out, you could lay these all out all at once and then come back and glue them. And now I'm just eyeballing it and gluing that down. And then on the print paper, let's see how that measures. That's the same as that. Okay, that's good. I'm going to actually cut this about an inch up so that I can use the other half on another card. Like I say, the scissors I'm using have like a scallop shape, so I'm just lining up the scallop. Every time I make a cut, I line it up with the next scallop so that I have it going all the way across. So now I have this piece I can use on another card, and this one I'm going to glue right over the top of that. Trying not to glue the table. And like I say, that with the glue sticks, you can lift them up and move them around a little bit. Okay. And now, let's see, if I wanted to do, Decisions. Oh, always a good one is just a note. You know, just letting, especially in this, the way things are going now, every once in a while, you know, people would like to get just a note from you to so you can let them know that you're okay and to check in with people. And I can put that right there. And if you're a perfectionist, I'm not a perfectionist. I eyeball most of this stuff. You could get out your ruler and measure from each edge and measure. But there's another just nice kind of plain card, but it's decorated to show people, you know, that you care and what you can do. And like I say, in your kits, well, another thing you can do, I don't know if this is working, this is besides, like I say, you're gonna have colored rickrack, silver rickrack. Oh, I just saw something else that I was gonna use as an idea, which I will show you. This is something called stickles, which is like glitter glue. And it comes in a squeeze. Oops, it is working. Okay, good. What you don't put it on real thick. You just kind of smear it a little bit, squeeze it out, and now it was working. There we go. I got a bit much there, but that's okay. But you kind of drag the tip of the bottle through the stickles. You don't want it real thick. We have used some of this in classes here. The problem with it is it takes a while to dry. And when we do classes here and the people take the things home, we don't want them, you know, having trouble carrying the stuff home. So that's why we tell you about it, and then you can use it, you know, get some on your own and use it at home. But see, that just adds a little sparkle to it. The other thing you could do, depending on what the paper looks like, because all the kits, each one has a different pattern of paper. There's no two of them are alike. But on this one has stars, and I could actually put a little bit of stickle on each of the stars. And you know, if you have just regular glitter and glue, you could do that too. But that just dresses it up a little bit and makes it fun. So you also could, you know, add that. What else could we do? Oh, I know. I had an idea. Let me get that one out of the way. In your kits also are these big cutout cardboard poinsettias. Now, I looked at them and I thought, you know, they're really neat, but they're too big for the card. No matter how I put it, it won't fit. So, what I thought to do is, and I don't know if this will, let's see how this will look on, that might work. Actually, see, I'm experimenting myself right now. I'm just, you know, that could work. Or I could even do that. I think I might like that better. So what I'm going to do is actually cut the poinsettia in half. So now I have two of them to use. And that won't work. I'm going to glue this plain piece of green print paper on the bottom. This is just to give you some ideas what to do with this stuff. I think some of the poinsettias in the kits are actually white poinsettias, so you could do something different. And like I say, the pattern paper in all the kits is different in each kit. So you just have to kind of play with whatever you get. So I'm gonna trim this, because remember, some of them are a little bit too long. And then I'm going to glue my poinsettia. I don't know which half I like best. Let's see. Oh, I like this one that goes up over the top a little bit. Oh, I'm just noticing too, one side is shiny and one side is dull. I'm going to put the glue on the dull side because I think that might work a little better. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing where it goes. And then I'm just looking over. Well, this might work. I have a saying up here. On this, I'm going to use the plain scissors. You know, this is also a project, if you have grandchildren of a certain age, this might be a fun project to do with them too. Okay, so now I have a saying that says, with warm regards, that fits perfectly right up at the top, which makes a very cute, interesting card. Right up at the top like that. And again, this is where you could use some of the stickles on there or not, but I like just the contrast of the dull paper and then the shiny paper. If you have colored pens, you could, you know, outline this with colored pens. Excuse me. If any of you have ever done any of the Zentangle classes that I teach, you could go add little designs on there, and you still have another half of a poinsettia that you can use on another card. So the possibilities are endless. You can just keep going. I like that one, which might be an interesting one. I like using this size paper, and you can actually, you know, just do something like that with a sentiment across it, or even do, I would put this guy all the way to the bottom, maybe do that. I have done some, I can't see if I have one here. Yeah, here's one. This one I took, let me see if I can find that piece. This one I took this size, and now see on this card, and because this cuts out a little bit bigger, it doesn't quite fit. But again, you can glue it down. At the angle you want. And again, like I say, I'm looking at the tips to make sure the tips are coming off at just about this one, and this one's the same, and that one's the same. And then turning it over, trim off the edges, the corners that you don't need. And if it ends up like you didn't get the glue far enough to the corner, you can usually lift up that little corner and re-glue it. And then let's see, what else did I do on that one? Okay, on that one, I actually glued one of these squares underneath, but I think I can do it on top as well, because I have that diagonal going in a different direction. And this just to show you, it doesn't, you know, there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can just do it any way that you want. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing the distance from here and here and putting that right there. And actually in your bag also will be this green strip that's cut for you already, and it's got perforation on the one end, on both ends. And both halves can be used. And this is just like what the fancy scissors do, but it's already cut for you. I could put that along there, or I could do it along there, or I could put it up here, or save it for another card. I just saw it sitting there and thought I had to mention it. So this would be another good one to put a sentiment or something up there. And also in your kit, there's going to be some gold rickrack. Oh, this might really be pretty on there. Yeah, that looks good. And again, the rickrack might be something that you're going to have to glue down with a different kind of glue, something that has a little bit more depth to it. I'm just going to put some on to hold it till I get to show you the idea, and I'll glue it better when I get home. Unless it ends up working, and then I won't worry about it. I'm just going to put that right across the bottom. And the same thing, I will then trim it with the scissors. And it's all set for a sentiment, whatever I want it to say, and it's ready to go. So between everything that you're going to have in your little kits and stuff that you might have at home, you have enough things to make 8 cards, maybe a little more, but there's 8 sets of cards in your kit. And now you have ideas on how you can do it for other seasons. And like I say, if it proves to be popular, we have tons and tons of scrapbooking paper here at OPC. And with the way things are right now, you know, we don't have classes that it's open to be used by everybody. So we would love to share it with you. And if you really like this, we can do some spring ones, some summer ones, some, you know, fall, when fall comes around again. By then, hopefully we'll be open and being able to do classes in the regular way. And just again, to show you the instructions, on the front page are the pictures of the ones that I have been sort of showing you. Inside is the same cards, step-by-step sort of instructions. The same cards bare before I put any sentiments on them, just to give you ideas of different ways that you can stack and layer the different colors of paper. So if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't have a good imagination, I don't know if I can do this, it's all right here for you. You can follow exactly what I've done without any problem, except with whatever kind of paper that you get. And the papers are really, really pretty. I personally picked them out, and I hope you will enjoy making some winter-themed cards and enjoy it from OPC Art to Go.